it's there's a lot of background noise.
I am actually muted. Let's turn this line off and I'll just work behind Commissioner Kelly. There we go. Okay.
Okay. Can folks see the slides?
Yes.
Great. Okay. How about, let's see here. How about now? Everything still good?
Okay.
Still good.
Okay. We might have some feedback issues, but we'll get started. The folks in the conference room, if it's possible to mute the line, that would be great. And we'll move forward. So Stephanie, you can begin recording. And unfortunately, I won't be able to see anyone because I'm doing the slides now, which means I can only see the slides. So it's a little awkward, but we'll get through it. Welcome everyone to the May 11th Veterans Advisory Commission meeting. And we'll get started with the Pledge of Allegiance. Is there a commissioner that would like to volunteer to read and lead us through the Pledge of Allegiance?
I can do that, Commissioner.
Great. Commissioner Campbell, go for it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to our next agenda item, and that is the roll call. Stephanie, if you could read the names, please.
Anthony Allman,
Present.
Joe Leal,
Present.
Brittany Moore. She did let me know that she wasn't going to be on today.
Okay.
Trisha Jackson Kelly. I see you there. Joanna McFadden,
Present.
Jennifer Campbell, Marcel Rodarte, John Gutierrez,
Present.
Dennis Anderson,
Present.
and one last time, Commissioner Rodarte. Here. Okay. Chair, you have a quorum.
Great. Thank you very much. I should also note that last meeting, the Board of Supervisors did appoint Chi Zato as the commissioner for the 4th Supervisory District, although he won't be seated until some administrative items are taken care of. So Chi, welcome aboard, and we'll see you hopefully at the next meeting. With that, we'll move on to our next agenda item, which is approval of the minutes. Commissioners, you all should have received that from Stephanie, and so we'll need a motion in a second to move forward. So a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
Motion to approve.
Okay, was that Commissioner Anderson?
Yes.
Thank you. And a second? Commissioner McFadden, seconds. And we'll just do a quick roll call.
Anthony Omen,
Aye.
Joe Liel,
Aye.
Pat Jackson Kelly,
Aye.
Joanna
Yes.
McFadden,
Aye.
Jennifer Campbell,
Aye.
John Gutierrez,
Aye.
Dennis Anderson,
Aye.
that was 7 yes votes, Chair.
Okay, great. The minutes are approved. So moving forward to the next agenda item, the chairman report. So I'd like to start with just the notice of meeting. The notice of meeting went out on May 4th at 1:02 p.m. to about 28,000 recipients. If you are not on the mailing list, I would reach out to the department and express your interest, and the PAO should be able to put you on the mailing list. Eventually, it'll be on the website, although we just did a website redesign, and there's really not a quick subscription box on there yet, but I think that's something the department will get to. The bigger item I wanted to mention to the commissioners is we had talked last meeting about approving the strategic plan. And over the past month, I've done some investigating with Stephanie, and we've learned some things. And I think it's worth noting and try to figure out which way the commission wants to go. Sorry, there's somebody else doing a screen share. Does anyone else see that? I'll just wait until we get back control.
Did you talk to that one?
Chairman Almond, I believe you have control again.
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
You have control.
Okay, great. So moving back to what I was saying, that we had discussed last meeting about approving the strategic plan, but one of the things that I wanted to make sure is whether or not there was a requirement to approve a strategic plan. And okay, I think Jose is taking over the slides.
Person for you. What does it say?
Contacts.
I'll just wait a sec to figure this out. Jose, can you hear me?
Right, the administrator.
Jose or Director Stone, can you hear me?
I'm here, Jose is not in the office with us. He might be in another office controlling the slides.
Okay,
He's not. I'll check in with him right now and find out about that. Is Stephanie controlling the slides on her end?
no.
So we'll check in with Jose.
Okay, I'll try it one more time.
Chairman, Jose is working on the issue right now. And that's what
Okay.
you're seeing
Well, I'll just get through the chairman report and then we can maybe do the handoff. So as I was referring to before, we had talked about since August, the commissioners retreat, about approving the strategic plan, but we had a few commissioners who are pending, and we wanted to wait and give them an opportunity to join the commission so that they can hopefully influence the strategic plan. So when Commissioner Anderson came in, we made a point to put it on the agenda for discussion. Long story short, there is no requirement for a strategic plan. It was something that the previous Veterans Advisory Commission had started in an attempt to try to forecast what they would be doing into the next year, but it is not a requirement. And so I just wanted to throw that out to the commissioners before we vote on this. Just understand that it's not an obligation on behalf of the commission. It was something that the previous leadership was trying to implement. That being said, I think that there's a bigger issue for the commission, and that is that the commission doesn't have any operating bylaws. This is something that I discovered with Stephanie's help. There was a draft set of bylaws put forward in October of, I think, 2020. And it was on the agenda as far back, or I'm sorry, in the minutes as far back as December 2020. But we find no evidence of the commission actually taking action on a set of bylaws, which to me is problematic because, you know, as we discussed at the last meeting with regard to changeover in leadership or proposing an additional leadership structure, all of those things would technically be outlined in the bylaws, which this commission apparently does not have. So, you know, I wanted to put that out there to the commissioners for discussion. My recommendation would be to table the strategic plan. I think we need to focus on the bylaws. In addition, I think we also need to create a nominating committee for the changeover in leadership next year. So my recommendation would be to table the strategic plan. I'm not even sure it's necessary, truth be told, and create two different ad hoc committees, a nominating committee for next year's leadership, as well as a bylaws ad hoc committee. And the idea would be that maybe 2 or 3 commissioners could look at the bylaws, maybe offer some suggestions, and then bring that to the full commission for consideration and amendments. So I just want to throw all that out there. It's kind of a big revelation. I've never really been on a commission that didn't have any operating bylaws. I thought that that was unique. And I think it's a problem that we should solve. So do any commissioners have any thoughts on that?
This is Commissioner McFadden. I agree with the points that you presented, especially regarding the bylaws. I think that's an important aspect to have.
Yeah.
For the proposal, would it be two different votes, then voting on one for the commission for the bylaws and then one for the nominating committee, just for clarification?
Correct.
Or is it one whole proposal?
No, it would be 2 different proposals.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did find evidence of, and I noted it here, there's a policy number 1 from November 2013. Although again, I really don't know if this has been ratified by a previous commission. But I think what we can do moving forward is incorporate whatever implementation, whatever instrument for leadership changeover into the bylaws. So they'll be codified once we discuss, amend, and ultimately adopt the new bylaws. But if we don't have any bylaws, then I'll just fall back on this pre-existing policy number 1 memo. But truthfully, I don't know if it's, I don't know what it is, to be honest. There's no signature, there's no reflection in the minutes. So I think ultimately what we need to do is sort out the bylaws. And we can include the nominating committee or the leadership structure into the bylaw discussion if we want, or we can have them as 2 different subcommittees, ad hoc committees. So I really just wanted to throw that out there to the commissioners to see sort of what you felt was appropriate. But ultimately we need to address the bylaws issue because that is in our charter. Commissioner Leal, Commissioner Anderson, Commissioner Campbell, Commissioner Jackson Kelly. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah,
Any other commissioners I missed? Go ahead.
yes, sir.
Commissioner Anderson.
One is a strategic plan that this commission had no participation in formulating, leaves us with somebody else's plan. So the other is that the organization of bylaws, I think, is appropriate because that is actually something that will hold currency and can be used by groups to come. They will at least have that.
The other thing that I would add, and this is just my opinion, the strategic plan I think is useful when you're trying to prioritize limited resources. Our commission essentially has no resources. We're not a county department. We don't have a budget. And so I think that the strategic plan sort of idea makes a great deal of sense if you're trying to prioritize a budget, but that's not really what this commission is, in my opinion. You know, I think our purpose is twofold. One, to report our impressions of what the department is doing to our board deputies, but also to be receptive to public input through public comment, which obviously takes place after the chairman report. To me, those are the two strategic goals of this commission. I don't think that requires a formal document. So anyone else have any other thoughts? I mean, people can agree or disagree with that, but that's just my opinion.
Mr. Chair, as far as the bylaws are concerned, maybe I am remiss in remembering correctly, but I think Tom Lasser had worked on those, and they did come before the body. We didn't vote on them, but
Right.
we reviewed them, and it was addressed. As far as the strategic plan is concerned, we developed that because we had no calendar of what we were doing next. And so that was the purpose of the strategic plan, is because there was nothing in place. And it helped us to identify different events to be given at different times. So that was the sole purpose of the strategic plan.
Since you were here prior to my appointment, how would you differ the strategic plan versus anything in the good of the order or for items that we put forward on the agenda for next month's meeting? Are they different in your mind?
Yes, because it's a responsible person. In the strategic plan, a person is identified as being responsible for that particular event.
Mm-hmm.
And calendar-wise, I don't see us doing that, and that was the reason why we developed it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I mean, that's helpful because I wasn't here, and I think a lot of the commissioners that are currently on the commission don't have any context. Any other commissioners? Commissioner Campbell, I think your hand's raised.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. I guess I'm wondering in regards to the bylaws, would it be appropriate to put together an ad hoc committee to tackle that? And probably, Patricia Jackson Kelly would be a great resource since there is, I guess, according to her, some working sense of a bylaws draft at one point to,
Right.
maybe is that reinvent the wheel, just kind of review them and put an ad hoc committee assigned to that to present to the commission?
Yeah, I agree. So absolutely, there is a draft of the bylaws. The issue is that they were never adopted, so technically they're not instructive to our proceedings. But I definitely think we can use that draft as a starting point and then go from there. I don't think we throw them out. I think that's where we begin and we offer our amendments and suggestions and then put that forward for a vote. So, you know, Commissioner Campbell or Commissioner Jackson Kelly, if you want to be part of that bylaws ad hoc subcommittee, feel free, or if you want to chair it, I'm happy to chair it. I don't think it's appropriate for me to chair the nominating committee because that selects the next leadership. But I'm happy to work on that. Any other, Commissioner Campbell, does that address your?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a good amount of experience with bylaws, so I'm happy to work on that ad hoc.
Okay.
And
Commissioner
I will
Jackson
also-
Kelly, do you want to join that ad hoc?
Yes,
Okay.
I will be willing to be part of it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Are there any commissioners that want to lead the nominating committee, ad hoc committee, subcommittee?
Hey, Chairman, this is Commissioner Joe Leal. I don't mind jumping on there and working with the nominating committee for the next leadership.
Okay.
I can prepare for that. And then I can also help as part of the bylaw, committee as well. Wherever I'm needed, more than happy to do so. They're all critical things that need to happen. Primary focus is we should really focus on it. I think in the past we meant to do that and it just kept getting pushed, whether it was because of other topics that took priority. But yeah, I'm glad that we're touching up on it. Let's knock it out, get it going, and so utilize me.
Okay. So on the nominating committee, the way that the policy reads, and I'll make sure everyone gets a copy of it, is that you select 2 commissioners to run that nominating committee. So it's I give you the authority to appoint whichever commissioners you want to the nominating committee.
Understood, sir. I'll have that for you. Does it have to be now, or I can report that back to you?
I think we could report back on that. So
Okay.
go ahead.
Sounds good, Chair.
Okay, great. So just to recap, I think we're going to create 2 ad hoc subcommittees. We're going to have one subcommittee review the bylaws. That'll be myself, Commissioner Campbell, and Commissioner Jackson Kelly. And then we're going to have a nominating ad hoc subcommittee chaired, or the ad hoc subcommittee will be chaired by Commissioner Leal and 2 appointees at his discretion. Is everyone comfortable with that?
Sounds good. If my name comes up for nominating, I would have preferred to do bylaws over nominating, but I will go where I'm needed.
Right. Well, I should say we'll all have an opportunity to dive in and be a part of that conversation. So
no problem.
okay, great. The last thing I will add is the YouTube channel continues to grow. It's very exciting. So we've had 5 more subscribers since last month. And again, we're just trying to get to 100 so that the department can claim a custom URL, which is easier to find in terms of, giving people a URL at a public event or anything like that. Not a big deal. But with that being said, we'll move on to public comment. And, or I should take a step back. Does anyone think that we should vote on those 2 things, or is that something that we can come back to at the next meeting with some more information?
I think we table it for the next meeting just so that it gives me an opportunity, Chair, so
Great.
I can elect and appoint the 2 individuals. I'm actually looking at the roster now. That's why I couldn't give you nothing. But I will have who those 2 appointees will before and for the next meeting.
Okay, great. And then we'll officially sort of codify that with a vote. That concludes the chairman report. Sorry, that was a lot of background information, but obviously not having bylaws is problematic. So I just wanted to address that. We'll move into public comments. Our first speaker, Denise McDaniel, are you there from SD5? Denise McDaniel. And last call for speaker number 1. Steve Blake, are you there? Steve Blake. Last call for speaker number 2. Judith Bowman, are you there?
No, Judy, but yes, I'm here. I'm John. I'm her brother.
Oh, okay. We have Judy signed up for public comment. Is she available?
Well, she's not. She had to go. She had to go to her one of her therapy classes got canceled a couple of days ago. So the only day she could go was today, and so she had me step in and speak for her. I actually am one of the actors in the play that we're going to tell you about today.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry to break protocol. I didn't know we had to send in another name. I would have.
Yeah, sorry. It goes by the registration form, and I think we can let it go this time. But moving forward, if you want to provide a public comment, yeah.
I will let her know. I don't know if you can see me. I can't see your meeting, but I guess you can hear me, right?
I can hear you, and we'll just start your 3 minutes right now, and go ahead.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with you, great American heroes who work with our wonderful vets. My name is John Bowman, and I represent a veterans theater therapy group. Our cooperative ensemble is called Drama Stage Qumran, and it was founded by a Vietnam veteran, one of the Marine Corps' finest, a gentleman named Melvin Ishmael Johnson. Me, I'm just kind of a kid who grew up in the, as an Air Force brat, and traveled the country with my mom and dad, and he was one of the original Tuskegee Airmen. My message here today is to invite the commission chair, other commissioners, and members to a play the group will present this Memorial Day, May 30th, via Zoom. The play is it's entitled The 101 Club. The play remembers a young second lieutenant who in 1945 had been trained and was ready to be shipped out to the South Pacific to the war zone there as part of the 447th Bombardment Group. And we all know about the Red Tails and their escorts of bomber groups deep into Germany, defying popular misbeliefs that blacks, when it came to bravery, courage, and loyalty, and the ability to fly planes, were dispelled. The story basically takes us to Seymour, Indiana, and I know I'm heading to overtime here. We're nothing if not passionate, and we love to share the amazement and pride when it comes to these amazing warriors. The Zoom play has a Facebook page. It's called The 101 Club, and it unpacks the story of a rare court-martial following a base confinement to quarters for 100 men. Bill Terry, a 21-year-old second lieutenant, was a soldier, and he was soldier number 101. This is his story as he told it to my sister, Judy, during arrangements for my father's memorial service back in 1995 out there in LA. As a matter of fact, my dad, Hank Bowman, served as the chapter president there in LA for a number of years, and he also was national president for a number of years. Now, Melvin, who is a prolific playwright, and Big Sister Judy collaborated on bringing Terry's story to the stage. No one has ever forgotten, I should say, as long as their story is told and shared. We hope that you will help us keep Bill Terry's and the Tuskegee Airmen story alive. And now, Drama Stage Qumran is, you reach them at 213-908-6495. That is 213-908-6495, or you can email them at dramastage1@yahoo. I guess I might have a couple of seconds for questions if anybody has them. The event is free on May 30th. And as we always say, tell a friend. We operate on donations. Any donations that can come in, that they would be sorely welcome. And I just, like I said, thank you again for allowing me to share today. Sorry Judy wasn't here, but I hope I stepped in well. John Bowman, over and out.
Great, thank you so much. Speaker number 4, I'm sorry if I mispronounced her name. Is it Elusma Farisian? Elusma Farisian? Speaker number 4, last call. Okay. Ms. Romero, are you there?
Yes, I am, Commissioner.
Okay. Your 3 minutes starts now. Feel free to get started.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Rocio Romero. I'm the Recruitment and Admissions Manager here at Empower Los Angeles. And I just want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to share some important stats on our program that I think it's only possible thanks to all the help and the support we received from all of your organizations. And so our spring 22 cohort just recently started. For those of you who don't know what Empower is, we serve military veterans, military spouses, and also young adults 18 to 26. We offer a free tech training program to give our military veterans the opportunity to launch lucrative careers in the tech field. We offer 4 industry certifications. We also provide social support services as well as placement opportunities. And so we just recently started our cohort. We accepted 86 students into our program. And out of those 86, 44, which is half the class, are military veterans, military spouses as well. When it comes to our military veterans, 30 are male and 11 are female. So it's so awesome to see that we have a good response from our female veterans wanting to launch careers in tech. And so finally, I just want to give a big thanks. I reached out to some of the veterans and I kind of wanted to know where they learned about our program. And so a big thank you to the LA VA, the Long Beach Healthcare VA, Rancho Cucamonga VA, JVS SoCal, Wounded Warrior Project, US Vets, and also a big thank you to Commissioner John Gutierrez for the collaboration that we've had with their technical program. And so again, just a big thank you, very grateful on our end, and we look forward to continuing to serve our military veterans, our military spouses, and also young adults 18 to 26 here in Los Angeles. We're here to stay. We've actually received over 300 applications, but we only are able to accept a few. So just a big thank you, and we're just really full of gratitude. Thank you again.
Great, thank you very much. Christopher Cooley, are you there? Christopher Cooley. Okay, last call for speaker number 6. Okay, that concludes our public comment, and we'll move on to the next agenda item. And that is the City of Los Angeles. So Captain Vasquez, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay, so thank you very much for coming here. I think you're going to be giving us a presentation on some workforce development programming that the city is doing with Microsoft. Is that right?
That is right. It's called the Los Angeles Veterans Technology Training Academy.
Great. Okay, so I will start your time, and it's a 10-minute presentation. I'll probably give you about a minute heads up. Just so you have an idea.
Okay, great. I will tell you that well, first off, thanks for having me, and greetings to all the commissioners. I think I know most of you, but not all. And I started to come here today with one slide, and then my Pentagon PowerPoint horrors came back. So I think I've got 11 slides, but I think I'll be able to get through them quickly. So next slide. Okay, next slide, please. So this was really a over 2-year collaboration with Microsoft. When I first got into the office in about October 2018, I started looking at the landscape for veteran training programs, which fall under my purview, and the Microsoft Software and Systems Academy has been very successful training predominantly post 9/11 veterans in technology programs that are run by Microsoft, and graduates earn Microsoft certifications. Plus, there's also a transition program. So they talk about resumes and the value of networking. So it's not just a tech program, but really a transition program under the DoD and Department of Labor Skill Bridge program. Highly successful, 94% graduation rate, 93% employment rate and placement rate. And Microsoft employs about 60 to 70% of their graduates. So they're very confident of the quality of the students coming out, all veterans. So that's a real testament to Microsoft. Next slide, if you can. We are all, I think, familiar with Silicon Beach, which really started of age a little bit less than 10 years ago, but it really has been a boom to the area in the tech field. And just the fact that we are a tech hub, and the mayor talks about it quite often, kind of led me to find out from Microsoft what they were doing and how we could bring the program here. Next slide, please. You know, this is the tech world really brings a lot of resources and value to the area. Most of you, if not all of you, know these companies that are on the screen here. So just exciting what has happened is continuing to happen in the LA area. Next slide, please. So even in 2020, with the pandemic, venture capital firms poured $9 billion into LA companies, and there's really no end in sight. Again, some of you may know some of these companies, and I will volunteer that Dollar Shave Club and Wink are ones that I use personally. So, and Ring, if you don't have a Ring doorbell, you're probably one of the few in the country that doesn't. But again, cutting edge technology companies that are really impacting people's lives. Next slide, please. And this is important because job postings, and I've talked to several employers who can't get enough employees. We're all familiar with, you know, as we start to emerge from the pandemic, job openings are up, salaries are up, and we're all fighting for qualified employees to come back to work and help grow companies. The city is no different. I don't know about the county, but the city has thousands of openings. And so we're all fighting for employers. So I thought, you know, how can LA fill that need? Next slide, please. And you all know the numbers better than I do. Veterans are a big part of the state, of the county, and of the city. 88,000 in the city alone. So we have one of the largest concentrations of veterans in the country, both in the city and the county and the state. So I thought they were a great pool to tap into. Next. So we founded the Veterans Technology Training Academy. Again, it was 2 years in the making. It launched in September. It's a 16-week program. We, in collaboration with Microsoft, we got a Microsoft certified training partner. The first cohort was funded by the LA County Innovation Fund. And the first graduates graduated in December. You know, in reflection, the timing wasn't great because they graduated in December, the week of New Year's Eve or New Year's. So not a great job market. You know, most folks are hiring, excuse me, is very slow between Thanksgiving and Christmas. But we're pretty happy with the results. Next slide. So we had 18 folks start and 15 graduate. So 83% graduation rate. One of the key takeaways for us, again, over looking at the MSSA program, we thought post 9/11 or folks that were not able to participate would be our largest demographics of students. We were very wrong. I was very wrong. Over 50% of the class was over 40, so these were older veterans. 70% identified as people of color, and 20% were women. So in a very, very diverse city, we had a very, very diverse cohort. And I think it will be a lifeline for people who didn't get a chance in the military to go into the tech field after they separated and completed their service. So we're very excited about that. The average salary is about $60,000 right now. And I think that's because some folks just didn't have the experience. But our very first graduate got hired by a union, and salary was about $140,000. And that's what Microsoft expected. They thought easily 100 to 120 would be the average salary after a 16-week program. Next slide. So what I think is also a key here, and this is a quote from a staff sergeant that transitioned. This is not only tech training, but transition services to a very, very diverse population in Los Angeles. And, the quality of the product has already been vetted and proven by Microsoft. And we, as a first city in the country to launch this program, are working very closely with Microsoft to make sure that the program includes all the facets that made them so successful. Next slide. So with 15 graduates, you might be thinking, how is I going to make a dent? Now, this was really a proof of concept for us to be able to again, be the first city to bring this program here. Our second cohort is recruiting right now. We'll start in June, and we're looking at a third cohort. We've also gotten funding from the city to bring on a program manager. And I will share with you, I really started to look at this from a community college point of view. I think there are, with all the community colleges here in LA, we could really upscale this program to meet the demand to graduate hundreds, if not thousands, of graduates into tech careers here in the second largest city in the country. Next, please. This is the current flyer for some informational sessions. I will send the actual flyer to Stephanie after the brief here, but I want to make you all aware and encourage you through the Veterans Network to get the word out. This is a great program. 16 weeks. It's absolutely free to veterans. It is a commitment. It is a commitment of 16 weeks full time, but we also have mentors in the program. Commissioner McFadden, with TikTok is one of our employer partners. So we're reaching out, and those employer partners have first crack at some of the best talent and some of the best trained veterans and Angelinos that we have. So very excited about the program. And again, I would encourage you all to share some of these informational sessions with veterans and veteran service organizations and encourage them to give the program a chance if it's right for them. If it's a tech career that they're looking for, we're confident that this is a great program. I'll stop there for your questions.
Thanks, Larry. I didn't give you the 1 minute warning because I didn't want to interrupt, but I appreciate the overview. Commissioners, any follow-up questions?
Yeah, this is Commissioner Gutierrez. Just Larry, this is I can't say enough about this program. It's been really good bringing it to LA. It's also it highlights how the collaboration between LA City and LA County can come together to improve the lives of veterans. So it's just really good program. We're looking forward to the next cohort and hearing how well that does. So thank you.
Yeah, and John, I should have given you a shout out because you and I were at the very beginning of this program, walking through Patriotic Hall and thinking about how we could get this off the ground. And you were very instrumental in that. So thank you.
No, thanks. And we're really excited to see the program manager coming from the that's being funded through the city of Los Angeles and their economic development department. So that's really good to see the program growing. Thank you.
I do have a question. I do have a question.
Commissioner, go ahead.
Yeah. The training is free, and it looks like a terrific program. Do we know how the veterans are supporting themselves while they are attending full time?
No, I don't have any direct anecdotes on that. I know some of them are, living with family or working on the weekends. One of the aspects of this that we really considered is trying to get stipends for veterans to help them along. Again, this is a proof of concept, and we learned a lot, right? We learned because we initially were looking at doing this as a night school or on weekends, but we decided to roll this out during the week. There are some prerequisites, so because everybody likes free stuff, but we want to make sure that the veterans are committed. So there are some prerequisites I have to get through. I'll get back to you when I coordinate with JVS, because I know we asked some of those questions just to improve the program, right? What else can we do for the next cohort? So I'll get back to you with some of those answers on how they were able to.
I am with you on that, Director. The only thing I stress is if there's any way anybody can organize stipend stream funding for people who are in a full-time course, that of course is optimal, and hope to see ways to get it done.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Larry, thanks so much. We have a couple other presenters, so we're going to move forward, but you're welcome to attend next meeting. If you want to provide a public comment, obviously you're more than welcome, and address those concerns from Commissioner Anderson. But
great.
Thank you.
And, I hope you will all consider coming down to San Pedro for LA Fleet Week here in a couple of weeks over Memorial Day weekend.
That's right. I think we're going to hear more about that. One of our presenters is going to talk about events.
Okay, great.
See you down there.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Take care. Our next speaker, Juan, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. Is the Director of Veteran Affairs Relations and Programs at UCLA. Go Bruins. And so we'll have a 10-minute briefing and then hopefully follow up with some questions. So whenever you're ready, feel free to get started.
Great. I will try to be quick. That way we have some time for questions at the end. So good afternoon, committee members. My name is Juan Hernandez. I'm the Director of Veterans Affairs Relations. Thank you for allowing me to have some time today to speak about our programs and initiatives at UCLA benefiting our veterans. I want to give you a quick overview and just touch base today. I'm sorry, can we move on to the next slide? Do you have my slides?
Yes, we do. They're loaded up.
Okay. Great. Okay, so I'll move on to the next slide. Okay. So I just want to give you a quick overview of what touch base today is, just on our assistance and what we offer, the different departments that we manage for services for veterans. One of them is the Veterans Legal Clinic. The other is the Veterans Family Wellbeing Center. Third would be just touch base on some of our initiatives involving outdoor activities for veterans. And lastly, I'll talk about some of the additional support we're getting for our different programs or hiring more support staff or for our different programs. So let me talk about the Veterans Family Wellbeing Center. Next slide, please. So this center offers these services that we have here, individual counseling, right now with COVID, remote services for counseling, specializes with services for women veterans and combat veterans, parents, caregivers, and grief loss. This program is actually at the VA GLA campus, and it's actually housed there. And veterans are, we're starting to have some folks come in, but we did a lot of these services remote during the pandemic. Next slide. This is our Veterans Legal Clinic. These services, this particular clinic is also in the GLA campus. This particular clinic helps with veterans benefits. They also help with service connection, compensation benefits or issues that veterans are having, citations, traffic infractions, and minor violations of traffic, or not DUIs or dismissal of criminal issues. But a lot of the things that we're seeing lately has been a lot of housing issues, obviously with COVID. So that's a service that we provide to veterans. And it's something that, again, with COVID, we were doing it remote, but we're starting to have folks come in and do that. Next slide, please. So this is a great program that is starting to kick up, and we're starting to get a lot of folks apply for this. This is the summer camps scholarship program for veteran children and grandchildren. It's for basketball camps, baseball, swimming, and soccer camps. Again, these are open, and I will definitely provide the information for it, and they're continuing to open, and they should be wrapping up pretty soon because it looks like there's a lot of folks taking advantage of it. Next slide. And this is an initiative that we started at the UCLA infield practice field, and it's right next to the baseball field. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get veterans to come out on Tuesdays and Thursdays for these type of tournaments. So these type of tournaments, what we're trying to do is trying to build camaraderie with veterans, especially local veterans that are maybe at the DOM or at the CPRS site. And what we're trying to do, again, is just build that camaraderie between veterans, and hopefully folks will come out and then just just either play in these tournaments or just have a good time with another veteran and catch up. Next slide. And this would be, we have a partnership with UCLA Athletics. What we do is we offer tickets for veterans. Our popular program is baseball. We offer free tickets to all home games for baseball. And for football and other ones, we have a reduced price. For football, we have 50% off. We do have a website that we offer to do that, so I would definitely provide that at the end. Next slide. And this would be just my last slide, but what I want to touch on here is our program is starting to grow, and what we're trying to do is trying to bring more folks onto the services that we do. So we're actually currently right now we're recruiting for a staff attorney at our Veterans Legal Clinic, and also a client services coordinator. We're starting to get a lot more folks calling us for services, so we're having to put those on. At the Veterans Affairs Relations, where I work, where I'm the director, we are actually hiring. We're actually finishing up in the process of interviewing for a veterans outreach worker, which that person would be advising veterans of educational benefits for GI Bill and benefits with the VA, and obviously other benefits that they might be entitled to, just for educational purposes. Obviously, that would be an outreach position where we're trying to get veterans to have more information in LA and understand what their benefits are and educational benefits. Obviously, it's not more of we're trying to get folks to come to UCLA to go to school, but just for them to be more informed about what they have for services. The other position we're hiring for is a communication specialist. We've heard from the community that there's a lot of services that we're offering. There's a lot of good things that UCLA is doing, but I don't think LA is actually hearing a lot of stuff that we're doing. So that's an initiative of us continuing to grow as a department, but the need is definitely to have a communication specialist, and we're almost done with the interview process for that. And that's it. I just want to thank you for your time, and want to kind of save the space here for any questions you may have or any comments you may have.
Great, thanks so much. I have some subject matter expertise in what you all are doing for VA West LA. So just to ask a couple follow-up questions, do you have any utilization figures, for example, with the Veterans Legal Clinic or the Family Wellness Center? Is that something you have on hand?
I don't, but I can definitely get that to you.
The addition of housing legal assistance is fairly new, yeah?
Yes.
And how's that been going? I mean, that seems like a great addition to the program. What types of housing are you seeing, like tenant protections? What does that look like?
Some of the things, yes, we've been hearing about that. We've been having our legal clinic represent the folks in court when it comes to that. Obviously, with COVID, there was a lot of protection as COVID started to go away. That those protections were starting to go away for veterans. So we've been hearing about that, and we've been trying to represent veterans to be able to stay in their homes or be able to figure out if they do have to pay how that payment would. So we can avoid protection.
I just want to reinforce, I think the addition of housing-related legal services is a great thing. Obviously, there's always the discussion of utilization, which hopefully you all will sort out with the staff attorney. I think historically that was the issue, is there hasn't just been enough manpower to handle all those cases.
Right, I agree, and then that's why, like you said, it was important for us to get a staff attorney, and not only that, to get a client coordinator as well, because there's going to be a lot of folks that our intake volume is starting to pick up, so we're going to obviously.
The one thing that I noticed was missing from the presentation was the Center for Excellence, right? So UCLA's lease agreement with VA indicates that there would be 3 centers. There would be the Veteran Family Wellness Center, the Veterans Legal Clinic, as well as the Center for Excellence, which was theoretically going to publish peer-reviewed research on best practices to end veterans homelessness and co-occurring substance use disorders, things that would lead to chronic homelessness.
Right.
Has there been any movement on that?
There has been, and I definitely, what we could do is, you're right, that is missing on it. If that's something that the committee would like to see, I can definitely find out that the Center of Excellence can present on their numbers and really what they've been doing.
Okay. Do any other commissioners have follow-up questions?
This is Commissioner Gutierrez. I just had one. Juan, would you be able to send this over to the commission, like any of the flyers that you have? I'd like to make sure that we all have it on hand so that we can share it as much as possible.
I send them over to Stephanie, the Veterans Legal Clinic, and then the Wellbeing Center. She has those two.
Perfect.
Those
We'll
two
get it from her then.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I can definitely any of the flyers you guys would like that I see on there, or I can just send a presentation if you like.
Perfect. Yeah, no, Stephanie will make sure she gets it to us, I'm sure.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One last question, if there are no other commissioners. Any other commissioners? Okay. As far as scheduling for Bronca Family Field, is that something that is done and coordinated through VA as a land use issue, or is that done directly through UCLA?
Are you talking about the baseball field or the infield?
Correct, the infield.
Okay. The infield. So that is done through UCLA, and then we're starting actually to get a website going with the schedules for that.
Okay. I throw it out there as a supervisoral district challenge.
Okay.
So if SD3 takes on the world, if any other supervisoral districts want to challenge us in a game of softball, feel free.
Great.
Okay, thanks, Juan. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Our next speaker is Amy Bravo, the director of the LA Veterans Collaborative, a VPAN partner. Amy, are you with us?
Hello, yes, I am here.
Okay. You have 10 minutes. Feel free to get started, and I'll probably give you a minute warning.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, I'm just going over some of the different upcoming community events. Are my slides up already, or should I share my screen? Perfect. Okay, great. So upcoming events that we are facilitating with LAVC along with the VPAN team. So our first one coming up is going to be a job fair with JVS SoCal. It's going to be tomorrow, actually. So if you want to next slide it, perfect. So yeah, different job opportunities, job fair that's also incorporating one of the wellness days. So there's other services involved. As of course incentive, we're making sure we're feeding people at these events and hope to see some people there because it is JVS does such an amazing job, as John's aware of providing gainful employment for veterans and their family members. Following that, we're actually pretty excited. Next, please. Next slide. So the next event, it's going to be a Military and Veteran and Family Appreciation Day on May 14th. A free event that's being hosted by Board Supervisor Hilda Solis. If anyone wants to change the slide to the next one. Perfect. So again, another free event providing COVID vaccines. And we can go to the next.
So I'm sorry, Amy. I think now we're on track, correct?
Perfect,
This is the correct slide? Okay,
yes.
Thank you.
So this is going to take place on Saturday, May 14th at the La Puente County Library. So again, focusing on health and wellness, we're providing vaccines. Supervisor Solis, she just does an amazing job of supporting veterans. She has Antonio Chapa as her veteran liaison per se that works very well with our VPAN team. Next slide. We're going to be hosting an event in the West LA VA campus, actually on the Japanese Gardens this Sunday. So that'll be the first event that we're hosting on the VA campus. So again, it's supposed to be a lot of fun. We're going to have the live music, the haircuts, again, that well-being factor of if you look good, you feel good. So I very much encourage people to go out there, especially since the Japanese Garden is, from what I'm told, is so beautiful. I've never actually gotten to go, but it exists and it's open. I think Mission Continues was the one who a couple weeks ago actually cleaned up that whole space. Next slide. All right, the VA is actually hosting a baby shower. So for any veteran mothers or for veteran fathers who are also expecting, this event is open for them to come and receive some goodies that'll kind of help out with them preparing for a baby. So that's, if anyone wants to contact the VA office that's in charge of that, it's going to be either Dorothy Faltes or Renee Andreessen. So that sounds like a lovely event if you know of anyone who is currently expecting. Next slide, please. All right, we have another Veteran Family Wellness Day held by our Supervisorial District 1 VPAN team. This is going to be in Baldwin Park at the Laylaws Harley Davidson. So that one also, just if you're interested in becoming or attending as an exhibitor for this, then Becky Aguilar is going to be your point person. And of course, we always just ask for people to register ahead of time. Not necessary. You will not be stopped at the door at any of these events. They're open to anyone who wants to participate. We just want to get a registration for a head count so we know to provide enough food and vaccines and people to provide the haircuts. Next slide, please. All right, so we have Operation Save. So we're providing SAVE training over at the Bob Hope Patriotic Hall. So that is going to be taking place on Thursday, May 26th, if anyone is interested in attending that. Again, because we want to focus on mental health awareness for this month, it's really important since suicide has probably either directly or indirectly affected somebody on this call. So again, it happens within our community and we want to make sure that everyone's prepared to handle any of the prevention aspects that go along with suicidality. So if you're interested in that, again, it's going to be at the Bob Hope Patriotic Hall, which is where we host our LABC. So I look forward to seeing some of you there in person. Next slide, please. LA Fleet Week. I know Larry mentioned this. So LA Fleet Week is going to be taking place. Normally it's in September, but last year the one in September was canceled due to COVID restrictions. So this year they aligned it with New York's Fleet Week. So pretty exciting. It's going to be a weekend full of fun. The event is free for anyone to participate. They do have a veterans village that has specifically veteran resources available. So you'll see our VPAN team and Veterans West out there that weekend if anyone's interested in participating, taking your family. It's supposed to be a lot of fun. Next slide. Then that same weekend, this is, I believe, Supervisor Catherine Barger's 24th annual tribute to veterans and military families. That's going to be taking place in Arcadia at the Arcadia Park. So again, free event for anyone to participate in. If you're interested in becoming an exhibitor, it's the same link as the registration. So that'll be another fun activity if going out towards the ocean is too far for you. So still another wonderful event that's supposed to be thanking our veterans in Los Angeles County. Next slide, please. There is a Memorial Day event at the cemetery. If anyone's interested in participating in that, I know Tess sent me this information. I don't believe there's a link for it. There's more information that you can find on their website, but again, it's open to the public to go and just appreciate and remember those that we had lost. Next slide, please. And then I believe this is the last one. So this is taking place June 3rd. It's not this month, but I will not see you again before this event takes place. So there's going to be a Welcome Home Troops event taking place again at Bob Hope Patriotic Hall for the veterans who were stationed in Afghanistan. So this is supposed to be a welcome back, getting them connected, making sure they have everything they need for that successful transition from another country back to the U.S. So we're looking for, if anyone wants to participate in this, maybe even, I know the LABC is going to be providing gift cards for the first 50, but of course, anything that people want to bring in, even if it's just your physical presence to welcome home our troops, that would be wonderful. And with that, that is all the events that we are participating in. And of course, if there's other events taking place, they are located on our community calendar, located on the UCLA DMH online learning community. So again, if you want to have access to that, just send me your email address and I will add you to that and give you instructions on how to access. That way, all of these events are located on that community calendar, along with the links to register and the flyers. And that's it.
Great, thank you so much. Commissioners, any follow-up questions regarding events in your district or Fleet Week or anything like that?
No, great job covering those events. There's a lot more that are going to be taking place. We have an SD1 that, well, I'll talk about it a little bit later. But yeah, thank you for that. It's really nice to see the events within the SDs and the opportunity for us to be involved as commissioners. So thank you very much. That was an amazing presentation.
Great. Any other commissioners? Follow-up questions? I heard, oh, Commissioner Jackson Kelly, go ahead.
Is it possible that we could receive this information?
Sure, we can make sure that that's distributed. Yeah. Amy, this is Anthony. I just had one follow-up. Is it true that all commissioners get to ride in the Blue Angels for Fleet Week? That's what I heard.
That is a rumor. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's terrible. I was really excited. I thought we were all going to get up there and do some loops.
Me too.
Okay.
Me too.
I appreciate it.
Chairman Owen, only Navy vets get to do that.
Okay. Well, do we have any? What Navy commissioners do we have?
At least that's the bid.
Totally not fair.
Well, I mean, Commissioner Gutierrez is technically Navy, right? You want to be in the Navy now, don't you?
I'm a shipmate. I'm a shipmate.
Chairman Jackson Kelly, Commissioner Jackson Kelly also spent some time in the Navy, so we count her as one of ours.
Oh, wow. All right. All right.
Okay, I'm
Thank
sorry.
you, Amy. I appreciate it. Director Stone, I think the floor is yours.
I'm with that, huh? I apologize. I took us off course for a second. I just want to say good afternoon, Chairman Oman and commissioners and honored guests. As you all know, May is a very busy month. You just heard a list of events that are going on. We've been very busy at the Department of Military and Veteran Affairs, and we're already attending and have begun supporting Memorial Day events. As a reminder to the public listening in, Memorial Day is the one day that we set aside to honor our men and women who have died while serving in the U.S. military. Unofficially, it marks the beginning of the summer season. And for many Americans who observe Memorial Day, they do so by visiting cemeteries or memorials, or holding family gatherings or participating in parades. Yesterday, Lawful Patriotic Hall held its first public gathering coming out of the pandemic. We were the host site for the Carry the Load event, which also recognizes our first responders as well as those that served in the military and were lost country as they served country and community. Our guest speaker for the event was our own County of Los Angeles Fire Chief Darrell Osgood. It was of special importance for us to have the fire chief on board, not only because of their dedication to our county and their service to our county, but under Chief Osgood's leadership, he has promoted the employment of the recruitment of veterans into LA County Fire with special programs set aside, especially for women vets or for former pilots. And so we're really doing a hard charge, working with other organizations to try to find those qualified veterans that are interested in joining the County of Los Angeles Fire Department. Beginning next week, as you heard, is the beginning of Fleet Week. I'll just add that working with the LA Film Office and Paramount Studios, we have some invitations for veterans to attend the screening of the Top Gun Maverick film, I should say. It will be held on May 29th. Again, I'll get this information out to all the commissioners. But the invitation is for May 29th, either at the 10 a.m. or 10:30 a.m. showing at the Pike in Long Beach. First 25 veterans to call our office or connect with our office will be the recipients of those tickets. All others will connect back to the film office and see if we can gather more as well if we show greater interest. It was mentioned that we have our supervisors who are putting on events. I, again, just want to echo what Amy shared with the commission about Supervisor Solis' event in La Fuente, and of course, Supervisor Barger's program. I want to add that the program at Arcadia Park, the 24th annual tribute to veterans and their families, on Saturday, May 28th, is more than just a fair. It offers benefits, resources. It's a job fair. We hired veterans off the park grounds 2 years ago when we last held this. There are military vehicles, flyovers, food trucks, and so much more. So if you have veterans that are interested in applying for LA County jobs, please ask them to show up that day because it's important, and a lot of people get seen that day face to face. It's not just their resume going over a desk. Of course, there's a lot more that's going on Memorial Day, and as I mentioned in past commission meetings, we hope to engage commissioners to be a part of events to represent the department and their supervisors, providing both a face and an ear at many of the programs that go on through the county. So with that note, I want to just publicly recognize Commissioner Jackson Kelly, who volunteered and is going to be speaking at the upcoming Memorial Day event at Woodlawn Memorial Park. Woodlawn Park, for those that don't know, and I know I didn't until this came to me, is one of the oldest parks in the county, originally established in 1881 as the Compton Rural Cemetery. It was recently renovated, and working with the general and Glenn Roosevelt, our former curator, they worked on a project there at the park to renovate it, and it was recognized as a final resting place for over 900 veterans, to include 17 unidentified Civil War soldiers from the Union Army. So once again, I just want to thank Commissioner Jackson Kelly for volunteering and for your continued dedication to the veterans and our department. We hope you all take a moment to honor our fallen on Memorial Day. Continuing my efforts in sharing not only the work that we perform here through the department, but also recognizing those that are doing the work, I want to turn over the remainder of my time to George Dixon and two of our veteran counselors. George is a supervisor of veteran services, a U.S. Army veteran, retired, with over 27 years of experience in veteran services alone. He'll be presenting today along with Alex Figueroa, a veteran rep who is also at our VPAN Rally Point 1, one of our most successful sites. And finally, along with the other two, we'll have Raimundo Borjan, who is our newly promoted Vet Rep 3, who is going to be working our brand new incarcerated veteran program. I'll let them tell you more, and I'm handing off to George Dixon. Thank you, George. Go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon, commissioners. Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm having
yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
So, for those of you that don't know me, today I was wearing a suit at Patriotic Hall. For those of you that got to see me, because I was pitching with the legal side of the house on alternatives to incarceration with our favorite person, Jody. So what I did today is I wanted to recognize our vet reps that work in SD1, since SD1 is doing all these great events over the Memorial Day weekend. And what I have before you is an activities report of what Department of Military Veterans Affairs has done from 7/1 to date. And the reasoning is, since we have a lot of new commissioners on board, to get a real understanding as to what the Department of Military Veterans Affairs accredited county veteran service officers do for our men and women in uniform, veterans, their dependents, and survivors. So across the top, remotely, we participated in about 14 outreach events. And remember, this is human error proof. If they put them in, we can calculate it, but that's not to include all the other events we participated with each rally point. And I know Commissioner Jackson Kelly went with us to SD2 for food bank and some other events we did out there. And there's a lot of things that we did with the VPAN and the Board of Supervisors. Phone calls, I can't attest to the numbers. The numbers that we picked up prior to last month was about 13,000 a month. So and that includes all communications, SMS, because we're using WaitWhile. We have the ability to communicate texting and get responses from our veterans. So remember, we have 22 field locations. If you calculate that by 22 vet reps and break down the numbers by week and by day, it averages out to about 40 calls to 60 calls per day per vet rep. We had over 8,500 veterans rep appointments, physically or virtually, for claims and benefits applications filing. That does not include the phone calls, because every appointment made by phone is an appointment for interviewing and gathering information. 4,217 unique veterans. These are veterans unique to our database system, VetPro, that our vet reps put into the system daily. These are new veterans who have never experienced or applied for any VA benefits from the Department of Veterans Affairs, State of California, county, and local services. Over 17,918 claims actions. This is claims activity to support a claims for applications, securing evidence, appeals, making arguments to the Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims, all the way down to the local level. Over 10,325 compensation, pension, vocational rehabilitation, education claims actions filed to secure benefits for our veterans, dependents, and survivors, not only in the County of Los Angeles, but surrounding counties such as Kern, Orange County, Ventura, Riverside, San Bernardino, and across the United States during the pandemic, because they could not capture or get to their county veteran service representative or Department of Veterans Affairs. Commissioners, you can help us market our favorite program of all, the College Tuition Fee Waiver Program, where we filed over 1,309 applications for college tuition fee waiver, saving our dependents over $7,408,188 in tax-free tuition, and that's a plus. Now, note the disability compensations and awards up to date, because we're continuously putting this revenue in. And if the commissioners can get us a little sign like Larry H. Parker, we've gotten you over $10 million, and the numbers keep on going up, that would be pretty cool at Patriotic Call. To date, in retroactive payments, $7,840,609 and over $1,130,914 a month for veterans, to include homeless veterans and those recently released from incarceration, which equals to about over $21,411 and $411,577.00. To date, VPAN referrals in Unitas, 561, and in VetPro, where Battle Buddies are going out to offices or connecting with veterans reps, we can put the VPAN referrals into our database system, which is about 1,400. So if you add those together, it's about 1961, which is about 10% of the referrals. Now, some of those may be duplicate referrals that we have in our system, but we do change the application. So where do we get the information from? It goes into our high-speed VetPro system, and this is how it's tracked daily. We're going to get Amazon Voice coming pretty soon, and I'm hoping that the director, we can give this report to you monthly if you guys would like to see it in this format. We can add or delete anything you want. And please hold all questions to the end after my two vet reps talk. And I'm going to transfer it over to my highly motivated vet rep, Alex Figueroa, to talk about what she does in the community.
Hi, my name's Alex Figueroa. I started working at a SD1 in South El Monte. I was pretty much the test pilot for it. I'm an accredited veteran service officer, and pretty much I work. My main clientele at the rally point is veterans. Is veterans themselves. I don't get a lot of dependents, but I do work a lot on a lot of education benefits, but primarily my main like I said, my main clientele is just to file brand new claims. A lot of people that are coming out straight separating from the service, and a lot of appeals, supplemental claims, or higher level reviews. In terms of dependents, I don't get too many of those, but I do have the qualifications to work with dependents should they come to me for burials or education or DIC. But that's mainly what I do, just pretty much working my main clientele with the veterans. And that's pretty much for me. And then now it's VCA2 Raimundo Borjon.
Hello, how you doing? My name is Raimundo Borjon, Veteran Service Officer. I work out of the downtown clinic on Tempo. I also work out of the East LA Outpatient Clinic. Also work out of the Twin Towers Men's Central Jail, Pitcher Detention Center, and also I assist female veterans over at the Linwood jails. What I do is I assist incarcerated veterans with any VA benefits, discharge upgrades, and reinstatement of benefits once they are released, and get them back into housing such as HUD-VASH or any other housing, even though they have a bad discharge, OTH, bad conduct, or anything like that. So I have different locations. I assist with disability compensation, pension claims, college fee waivers, approvals, Chapter 33 benefits, Chapter 31 vocational rehab. So pretty much all the services with the VA. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me and I'll be able to assist. And then I'll hand it back to George.
And thank you, Commissioner, for giving us the time to give a quick pitch. I know it's a 5-minute blast, and we're hoping to highlight accredited veteran service representatives in each supervisory district. Remember, we're co-located with the Veterans Peer Access Network rally points, and there's over 22 field offices that are up and operational and functional. Most are still doing remote, but we are gradually opening, and we're taking a gradual slow reopening so people get used to us being back into our field locations. And with that, does anybody have any questions? Does anybody want a copy of the slide to see how much revenue you can help us generate for our veterans, dependents, widows, and orphans and survivors?
George, we'll like the copy. We'll share the slides with all the commissioners. This is Acting Director Stone. I just also want to make sure, though, that we have time for our last speaker. I didn't announce this, and I should have. Dimitri De Silva is on the line right now, and I think in last month's commission meeting, there was a request for information on the veteran employment process in LA County, and so with that, I want to lead the discussion over to Dimitri. Are you online? He may be muted. Dimitri, are you online? And if not, Dimitri, do we have DHR?
Hi, this is Lauren Robinson with DHR's Policy Unit. I am online.
Oh, Lauren, I understand that you have some information available for the commission.
Yes, that sounds like Dimitri.
Dimitri, are you online?
If not,
I'm going to make the assumption that he's not. Can I ask you to introduce yourself and what you'll be speaking on today?
Of course. And I actually have been speaking with Dimitri on this topic. Like I said, my name is Lauren Robinson. I'm with the DHR Policy Unit. Speaking with Dimitri, he had mentioned that there were some questions about our current veterans credit policy and where the authority for that stems from, what's included in our PPG. And then also we have actually been in regular conversations with the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs about potentially expanding that PPG. So perhaps to allude to, where we are planning to go to this commission. So as just a very brief snapshot of our current veterans credit policy authority, County Charter Section 36.5 is the authority that establishes veteran credit standards for the county. So this charter section allows for a credit of 10 percentage points to anybody who has served in the armed forces of the United States in time of war, armed insurrection, or international police action and is honorably discharged. It also provides these same service point opportunities to the spouse of a veteran who is permanently disabled or killed while in such military service. So this authority is used as the framework for our policy. Of course, the challenge that we know we've run into in interpreting this charter is that we've not been engaged in an official war since World War II. So in our current practice, we were able to expand the credit points to account for recent veterans through a 2003 motion by Supervisor Kanabe, which allowed to add this credit for individuals who are awarded a campaign or expeditionary medal while in service. So these would be our veterans who saw combat on behalf of the United States. So that is where the framework for our current policy comes from. And in order to explain this medal process, because it is really confusing to folks that are not in military service, we reference the OPM guidance for federal employment, even though we do not match their many other points criteria. We just focus on that, veterans who served in time of war, international police action. And then, as I alluded to, we have been working with the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs to potentially expand this policy, because we know that while we are capturing a good chunk of our veterans right now, truthfully, for our recent veterans, we are giving the credit primarily to those who saw combat. Because there are some folks who are considered veterans who would not be getting a campaign or expeditionary medal. And the challenge is that time of war definition. So right now we are looking at ways that we can, we're working with MVA and also with our county council to look at ways that we can use the current charter language and see, how we can expand that authority, and if we would like to go in that direction. And that's the policy in a nutshell, but I'd be happy to answer any direct questions that.
Thank you, Lauren.
Hey,
Sorry,
Dimitri.
Chair Allman. Hi, I'm so sorry. How are you, Chair Allman?
Welcome. I
Thank
think
you.
you're going to go ahead and say something. So maybe you're going to complete Ms. Robinson's thought or add some supplemental information.
Yes, if you don't mind, and thank you for bearing with me. I was upstairs on my computer plugged in, but apparently my mic and video was not willing to play with me today. So I apologize. I did run down to join Commissioner Pat Jackson-Kelly and Director Stone, and hats off to Lauren and the DHR team. As she mentioned, that's kind of the lay of the land. This is really an issue that Director Stone flagged for us sometime back when we had a fire candidate who was initially not given her veteran exam credit, and we kind of started pulling it apart, and it wasn't an issue that we were aware of until that case. And when we started looking through PPG 115, which DHR and Lauren were speaking to, it was a bit confusing, and there were a lot of different gaps in terms of what the intent was and how it was being utilized and implemented throughout the county. So we very quickly reached out to DHR policy. We formed a partnership to kind of attack this and make sure that the overall intent is being accomplished. And as Lauren mentioned, this is rooted back to an authority that's based in our charter. So I think between MVA and DHR, we really have been trying to attack it twofold. We want to leverage what possibilities we have right now to create the latitude to ensure all veterans who have earned this credit are getting it. And then concurrently, we're taking this long view approach to understand that, how we define a veteran, how we work with the reservists, how we work with different members of our military, it shifts, it evolves. We're constantly changing. And we wanted to create something rooted in the charter that would allow us to adapt and modify our approach as the future presents the need to. And so that's really been the challenge, and hats off to DHR. It's really been a great collaborative effort between our department and theirs. And as Lauren mentioned, we do have these things rocking and rolling. We're just trying to push it as soundly and as quickly as we can. So thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, Chair Allman. And thank you, Lauren, and your DHR family. We appreciate it.
Lauren, this is Commissioner Allman. We haven't had an opportunity to talk, but Dimitri and I have sort of talked about this a little bit with respect to, at what point does this require a public vote? I recall that there was some discussion about an amendment to the county charter. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, as we were discussing the approach to where we could take this policy and the service credit, we think there are some avenues to expand it within our current charter language, but it does make it more convoluted, and we really want to make our policies as easy to understand for the department exam analysts and for our candidates, just so that way everyone who should be getting credit, gets the credit that they deserve. Right, and that there's no misconceptions about what we consider to be a veteran or spouse of a veteran, right at face value. So ideally, I say that to mention, in order to bring up the fact that I think that there are some inroads we can take within our current charter language, which would not allow for or not require a public vote. However, if we were to change the charter, that would take it to that next step, which we know is a pretty lengthy process to do. We are currently, as going through this, we think that we would recommend a change to the charter language if we were to pursue this expanded service credit.
And I ask because I think that this is something, I don't know if you were around for the chairman report, but I think one of our duties is to respond to public comment. And we had a public comment on this particular topic, which I thought was very moving, and put this issue on my radar and the commission's radar. And I think that this is something that I can't speak for the other commissioners, but that is deserving of a little bit more exploration. So I don't know if maybe next month or the following month we have to work on scheduling. If you would be willing to come back and show us the current language, just so that the commissioners can see it with their own eyes, and sort of discuss, what these two options look like. What's maybe a little bit more malleable within your existing authorities, and what would require, going before a public vote. Because if it does have to go that direction, I think that this commission could be useful in terms of potentially waiving this to the Board of Supervisors as, a problem that deserves attention.
Absolutely. We would love to engage with you on that.
Great. Thank you. Director, do you have?
No, I appreciate that, and we can, again, provide some language as a prelude so that the commission is prepared to have that discussion next month.
Great.
There you go.
Director Stone, is that does that conclude the department report?
That concludes our report. Thank you.
Okay, great. We'll move to the next agenda item, please. Okay. So these are a list of briefings that we've queued on deck. We are trying to get a representative from the LA County Department of Children and Family Services. We are waiting to hear back regarding their availability. We've also received requests from commissioners regarding NPower, TeleQ, Metro, LASA, and I added this DHR issue because I think it's worthy of further investigation. Commissioners, do you have any other topics to add? Obviously, we can't get to all of these topics within 1 or 2 meetings, but we'll try to work the scheduling. So if one speaker is available or not available, we can move another topic in its place.
Yes, Commissioner. I think last time I had requested from the Transit Authority regarding naming the station.
Correct. I added that as number 4. I just called it Metro, but that's the topic matter. Yeah. Yep. No. Sorry,
Yeah.
I should put the subject matter a little bit more explicit. Commissioner Anderson, I know you brought up LASA regarding the shelter capacity as well.
And I would add, if we could have an update from Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health on its veterans outreach, its intakes, and how do they interface with their veterans, particularly regarding benefit claims.
Okay. We do typically have Jim Zenner from VPAN, who's our liaison to DMH. This month it was just a handoff to the LA Veterans Collaborative to discuss events, but next month we'll have Jim back as well.
Okay, sounds good.
Any other commissioners? Okay, moving to the next agenda item, good of the order. Commissioner Leal, floor is yours.
Good morning. Good afternoon. So a lot of what I was going to discuss was already covered in regards to upcoming events. Definitely very active, like was mentioned earlier in regards to May being very busy, I can tell you that some of the things we recently did in wonderful collaboration with Supervisor Solis and LA Fairplex, we just wrapped up our Heroes Corner, which was very successful. Brought out some pretty good providers to be able to present those veteran resources to those participants during the fair. The fair has been kind of unique this year because they moved it from its traditional September to May. However, we're always happy to be afforded that opportunity. There are some classes that are taking place. The Suicide Assist course that's taking place tomorrow, Hacienda La Puente. That's coming up to include the event that we have coming up on Saturday with Supervisor Solis, to which we have the support of the Army Reserve that's going to be showing up as well with static display. The other thing that we just wrapped up in appreciation to Supervisor Solis was we recently had one of our units come back from an Afghan tour. Well, actually, they didn't go to Afghanistan, but they were caring for the refugees that were pulled out of Afghanistan. Supervisor Solis herself went out and thanked all the service members, about 150, a little bit more, right around that number, and thanked them. So I thought that was amazing. So any upcoming events that I have, I will ensure to send them to, Stephanie to push out. But that's pretty much what I have. Very active. I'm going to be very active, like I have been out in the community, representing the supervisor and also our department. But that's pretty much what I got, Chair. Back to you.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner. I think Commissioner Moore is out today. Commissioner Jackson Kelly, anything for good of the order?
Yes. I also would like to announce that Supervisor Holly Mitchell is having an event at 5 p.m. at the Bill Brew Library in El Segundo. And it's on policies and priorities on race relations. And as far as events attended, I attended the county's event yesterday on the Commissioners of Women Award Luncheon, as well as I was a speaker at the Women's Veteran Series for Women's Veteran on Point. And I think that's about it.
Okay, thank you so much. Commissioner McFadden, are you feeling vocal?
Sorry, I was trying to find my mute button. Commissioner Jackson Kelly covered any information that I would share, so I just wanted to tell everybody, wish everybody a happy Military Appreciation Month this month. And if they didn't know, I know a lot of agencies and companies are recognizing it and celebrating Armed Forces Week, but this month is also very special overall. So just pushing that out.
Great, thank you. As far as my good of the order, a couple weeks ago, I attended an event at Duke University, and it was called the Veterans Transition Research Initiative, VTRI. And essentially what the Duke School of Business is attempting to do is create a new scientific field of study oriented around veteran employment and how talent acquisition, talent managers, HR people view veterans in the workforce, attempting to identify certain biases, if any, and why those biases exist. And it was super fascinating. It's a very nascent, very early field of study. It's primarily being run by social psychologists. I would encourage people to go check it out. You can just type in Duke University VTRI. And the reason why I think it's so significant is because I always go back to, and one of the issues that I work on, obviously, with regard to VA West LA is veterans homelessness. And I really think we don't talk enough about workforce development and ensuring that veterans have access to employment so that they can afford to live in areas like Los Angeles. And so if we can identify what issues there are within the hiring pipeline to include culture of various companies, then we can overcome those challenges, get veterans jobs, and hopefully make them more housing secure. So it was a great experience. I think the next event is actually going to be at UC Santa Barbara, and I look forward to it. If any of you have more questions about it, feel free to email me, and I can share more information. That's my go to the order. I think Commissioner Campbell had to drop for work. Okay, Commissioner Rodarte, did you join us? Okay, Commissioner Gutierrez, floor is yours.
So just like Joe mentioned, Miss Amy Bravo did an outstanding job of covering all the different events, making sure that they had coverage for the entire county on everything that was going on this month. But I will mention again, the 24th annual tribute to veterans and military families is going on at Arcadia Park on the 28th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So we're back again live this year. So please come on out and support all the different agencies that are out there and different vendors that are there, and just come have a good time, spend the day with your family out at Arcadia Park. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Anderson. Bring us home.
Thank you. Just wanted to say, also concur on Amy Bravo's presentation. We'll be joining Supervisor Barger and all our brothers and sisters at Arcadia Park on the 28th. On a personal note, I'll be leaving for Normandy, France the next day to make a parachute exit at San Mariglis with paratrooper veterans, and our nonprofit, the Liberty Jump Team, has underwritten travel of 127 World War II veterans to the battlefields of their youth at Normandy, Bastogne, and Holland.
That's amazing.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well,
we're jumping from a D-Day vintage C-47, and there will be about 30 of us.
Wow. Okay, excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any commissioners have any final comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to the next agenda item, which is adjournment. Thank you, everyone, for your time today. And we will follow up, commissioners, with a little bit more information, the slides from each of the presenters, the flyers, and then the background material I discussed during the chairman report. So thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Be safe.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.